everything will be alright.
I've been strong and I've been broken within a moment. I've been faithful and I've been reckless in every bend. I've held everything together, watched shattered. I stood tall and I have crumbled in the same breath. I have wrestled and I have trembled toward surrender. Chased my heart adrift and drifted and home again. Plundered blessing till I've been desperate to find redemption. And every time I turned around, Lord, you're still there. I was found before I was lost, and I was yours before I was not. Grace spare for all my mistakes, and that part just wrecks me. And I know I don't deserve this kind of love. Somehow, this kind of love is who you are. It's a grace I could never add up to be somebody you still want. But somehow, you love me as you find me. Who am I to think your glory lifts my praises? But if this borrowed breath is yours, Lord, take it all. You are faithful and you are gracious, and I'm just grateful to think you don't need a single thing. Still you want my heart. Oh, I was found before I was lost, and I was yours before I was not. You wear the scars for all my mistakes, and that part just wrecks me. I know I don't deserve this kind of love, but somehow this kind of love is who you are. It's a grace I can never add up to be somebody you still want. Somehow you love me as you find me. 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 Your love's too good to leave me here. Your love's too good to leave me here. Your love I could never add up to be somebody you still want. Somehow you love me as you find me.
Surprise! Hello, City Youth. It's Raphael here. I'm the guest for this week. I welcome everyone that's here. If this is your first time City Youth, welcome. Let's get started. Today we're going to be dealing with coping. If you don't know what this is, essentially it's dealing with things, dealing with it. Now let me just read with a couple of verses from the book of Lamentations, chapter 3, verses 19 to 23. Listen carefully because it's going to be very important as we move forward. The thought of my suffering and homelessness is bitter beyond words. I will never forget this awful time as I grieve over my loss. Yet, I still dare to hope when I remember this. The faithful love of God never ends. His mercies never cease. Great is His faithfulness. His mercies begin afresh each morning. Now, Jeremiah said these words. Now, we can see that he's having a tough time here. He's coping. He's dealing with things. Now, I'm going to give you a little story about my childhood when I was a teen, when I was in middle school. The way I dealt with things was by watching Naruto. A lot of Naruto. There's 700 episodes of Naruto. I watch all of them multiple times. Now, I would deal with the emotions and the things that I was going through by watching this, right? Now, when Naruto, in the storyline, he was trying to just become the Hokage, right? And he used his Rasengan to get his way through everything. He would just use that and deal with everything. Now, in real life, you can't Rasengan your way through everything. That's not how it works. In real life, we're in the moment, and you can't deal with that like that. Now, how do you deal with your things, right? Now, I just want to put on the chat, name on the chat your favorite Naruto character. I think that my favorite character was probably Kakashi, maybe Sasuke. Just put on the chat and put any songs that you know of Naruto. Put it on the chat there. Now, maybe you can relate to my story, and maybe you're dealing with things, right? Maybe you're dealing with things by watching Netflix, watching YouTube, maybe scrolling to TikTok, hours upon hours. Maybe that's your way of dealing with it. Now, we must recognize that right now, we're living in a difficult world, right? We have COVID, right? We can't ignore it. It's here, and that's affecting a lot of our daily life, right? We have online school. That's affecting our learning. Lack of social interaction. We can't hang out and talk with friends, right? At least in person. Lack of physical activity. This is hard as well. If you're in high school, you have to do your 40 hours of community service. How are you going to do that in person? Online? I don't know. But you have to deal with that, right? And all these things are causing stress, right? No matter what age, we're all dealing with stress, right? It's important to recognize that. How do you deal with stress? Now, when it comes to school and your academics, you can ignore those things and put them aside. But if you do, you could fail. So I wouldn't suggest doing that. You don't just want to ignore these things and put them aside, right? It's not good to ignore them. You want to be in the moment and deal with them. And you should not ignore them and pretend they don't exist. Let me give you an example. I come from a Latino background. My mom, very strict with chores and everything like this. Her nickname, hopefully she doesn't kill me after this, is Dragon. I call her Dragon, and this is her nickname. Now, my dragon tells me to do this and that, do the chores, do the beds, vacuum this, and then sometimes I tell her, maybe later, maybe then or that. And, just wishing that my dragon doesn't tell me to do this, it's not going to get the chores to go away. They're still there. I still have to deal with them, right? It's not that they're going to go away flying or they're going to do themselves. I have to do them. I have to take responsibility and do them, right? Now, how do you deal with your situations. Is it Netflix? I know a lot of you there started smiling and said, yes, I'm watching this show, that show. Maybe is it TikTok? This is the big thing nowadays. I know a lot of people know, the famous dances, Renegade, or the other dances. I don't know any of the dances at all. Maybe it's Instagram, good old Instagram. You chat, comment, like, sending memes to your friends, right? Maybe it's even video games, right? If you're a video game fan, you play Minecraft and so on. The fact that you're building your virtual world in a computer, it won't get rid of the fact that there's a real world right here, right now. It won't disappear. It's still here. You have to deal with it. So all these things are forms of dealing with things, right? It's coping systems. Now, it's important to note that ignoring doesn't make something disappear. So just keep that in mind. Ignoring doesn't make something disappear. I'm just going to check the chat right now, see what characters people said. People are saying they watched Dragon Ball Z. Definitely Itachi and Kakashi. That was Kemal. Good choices. Okay, awesome. Okay, so let's just go back to the verse, right? So I'll read it again, but note this. When you are willing to feel, when you're willing to deal with it, then you can move forward. This is very important. You feel, you deal, and then you move forward. So in the verse, again, this is the first sentence. The thought of my suffering and homelessness is bitter beyond words. I will never forget this awful time as I grieve over my loss. Yet, this is very important, I still dare to hope when I remember this. The faithful love of God never ends. His mercies never cease. Great is His faithfulness. His mercies begin afresh each morning, right? Let's just break it down, right? So how does this is Jeremiah here, how does he feel it, right? What is he feeling? Now, he's feeling bitter beyond words. And why is he feeling bitter beyond words? Because he's suffering and he's homeless. I've suffered before. I've never been homeless. I literally cannot describe how it is, right? So I'm bitter beyond words just thinking about it. But Jeremiah was homeless, right? So just think about that. Now, this is how he feels, and it's very horrible. It's very bad. Now, this is how he feels, and he recognizes that. Now, how does he deal with it? And this is very important because when you deal with it, then you can move forward, right? And this is the hope that we're trying to get at. So he says, however, right? However, when he says, yet, I still dare to hope when I remember this. The faithful love of the Lord never ends. His mercies never cease. Great is His faithfulness. His mercies begin afresh each morning. Okay? And this is how he deals with it. This is the truth that gives him hope. Now, another thing is that you might be experiencing a new pain each and every day, right? I know that I experience multiple pains each day, and it might be a big pain and it's just renewed each and every day, right? So you may ask, hey Raf, how do I deal with all my pains? God might help me with one pain, but the next day there's another one, and then the next day there's another one, right? So does God help us here? Is there a solution? If you think so, just put it on the chat. I want to see what you think. No, this is what we say. This is what God says. In the verses, we see that His mercies never cease. Great is His faithfulness. His mercies begin afresh each morning. Right? Each morning. Do you know what that means? Is that today, my pains are dealt with, and tomorrow as well. Right? So we don't have to worry about this. We feel it, we deal with it, but we have to know that God is there each and every day. He's constant. right? Now, you can either put a Band-Aid on it or go to God. Now, the Band-Aid may be binge watching Netflix, right? Staying up late while you watch Netflix when you have to study and get up early the next day. Or TikTok and staying up late and just scrolling and learning new dances and so on. It could be playing video games with your friends, whether you're Minecraft or FIFA or Call of Duty or whatnot. This could be what you're dealing with. This is the Band-Aid that you're putting on, right? When I was a little kid and I got scrapes, I put a Band-Aid, but it never solved the problem, right? It's just something that's temporary. You put it on and it doesn't heal you, right? It's just there to cover up the surface. It doesn't heal you ultimately. Or you can go to God, right? God is such a powerful thing, right? God is here and Band-Aids are here. And God provides that ultimate healing, right? The healing that we're looking for, the healing that we need. Now, when it comes to dealing with our situations and what we're going through and the stresses that we may experience, we don't have to do this alone, right? There's a practical side to it. You can go to a friend, you can go to a grown-up, you can go to your parents, and so on, right? When you open up to people, when you open up to your family members, even your small group leaders, right? Your small group leaders are great and they're here to help you and try to do the best for you. When you open up to them, they can share their experiences and maybe you can move forward from that. Maybe you can understand that you're not alone in this, right? Maybe they went through it. And some of the things that we use to deal with our situations, you might feel ashamed of them. It's okay. I feel ashamed of 1,000 things that I do. In fact, I don't know, you can probably see, but it's covered up by all these are like Colombian bracelets. I have a big scar over here, another big scar over here. I'm ashamed of these scars a little bit. I went on a field trip to Banff, Alberta, and I fell, right? And I had these scars because of an accident, and I'm ashamed of these and the story behind it, but I'm willing to share and open up with it. Now, if you're a little bit shy and you're afraid that people are going to judge you because of what you've done, something that you could do is write about it. I have a little book over here. My cousin gave me this. Has this little symbol. I use this all the time. And I write about everything on this, right? My prayers, my feelings, and whatnot. Write about it. And when you go back, you open the page and you're like, okay, yesterday I wrote this and it said this. You can go back to this and refer that this is how you felt. And you could literally turn the page and see that it's a new day, it's a new start, right? So write about it, and from there you can go to your small group leaders and talk about it, right? We're here to help you and to be with you in any situation. Now, just sort of to close off here, when you're in small groups, it's to experience life together, not just the good with bad, but everything, right? It's a judgment-free environment where you could share your feelings and talk about it, right? In my group, this is what we try to do, and this is what we want for you. Now, it's important to know that you don't want to escape your feelings, right? You don't want to escape them. You want to feel it, you want to deal with it, and you want to move forward. Moving forward, that's the hope that we have in God. Now, as we go into our small groups, the question that I have for you to consider is this: what are the difficulties that you are facing now, and how are you dealing with it, right? Another thing is, what Band-Aids did you put on your hurts, on your pains, right? So think about that. We're dealing with a lot of things right now. So hopefully you have something to talk to your small leader. If you're not ready, it's okay. Like I said, just write it down and keep those verses in mind, right? No matter what we're going through, it's tough, right? He's going through pain and suffering, yet He still dared to hope when he remembered the faithful love of God never ends. Just think about that. Things that never end. The universe, the galaxy is so big. The universe is so big and that ends. But the faithful love of God never ends. So just think about that and let that settle in. I hope that you have a great evening, and it was nice having you tonight.